I think I'm nocturnal. I'm so ineffective during the day. At night, my mind is a race of ideas and endless possibility. I know, of course, that it runs deeper than this. If your days lack purpose and freedom, then maybe we chain our own minds. We create our own prisons through necessity. It's not the worker's fault that he has to work. We have to do these tasks which are repetitive, like prisoners. But even though these chores only take away our hours of the day, time is really all we have. If we have no time, what's left? And that's why I can't sleep sometimes. I'm not alone. So many other people have to do the same things. Everybody, really, chasing those pound signs, chasing pennies for what? For a slightly easier life, for a chance to retire. Most of the time these days, it's just to pay the bills. But it all has a knock-on effect. If you fill your time with things that don't matter to you, that has consequences. You fill your mind with things you don't need to. And when these things happen, bad decisions become second nature. At times when I've been overworked, when I've been pulled apart, I've lived in one place, had to travel to work somewhere else, it's worn me out. At these times, that's when I've made my worst decisions. I'm reminded once again of a song that I wrote. The line, purpose and freedom. I want to live my life with purpose and freedom. A simple line. But that's all it takes to live life. Without purpose, without freedom, we just exist, going from one self-made crisis to the next. I feel that the times we live in, we're so deeply disconnected from a modern life. I know times change, and when the terrain changes, it changes everything. Technology and the internet. The death of an industrial age. Our working conditions are different to what they were. With the advancement of technologies, we've seen everything change. Since really the dawn of the internet, the last 15 years or so, every year things change again. But one thing which I mentioned before, no one's ever paid me to be useful. Isn't that weird? I've never even had a job that I really like. Well, when I was 18, I worked in a bar for a while, and I loved that job. Even when I did the occasional gig when I was younger, I never actually got paid in money. I usually got paid in beer. And back then, being the drinker and the social person that I used to be, this was okay. Obviously now, I'm not so social, and I rarely drink. But it would be nice just to be paid to do something that you enjoy. Or even better, there are better rewards than money. To do something that gives you that purpose for your existence. To do something that makes a difference that maybe only you can see. But it makes you feel connected to your own spiritual existence. which in turn connects you to other people around you, or just makes someone else's life a hell of a lot better. That's important to me, to make a difference to other people. God, I love the idea of helping people, if they're a little bit older, bringing them their dinner, cooking them their dinner, helping them clean their house. It's all part of that society that I really crave. And I think other people do too. I'm in a situation where I have a daughter. We don't have grandparents on either side, so it's only really me or my wife that really look after our daughter. Man, I would love to have grandparents for her. But again, if we had that bond in society around us, there'd be neighbours you could trust, people you know locally who would probably look after her and be an adopted grandparent of such. And you would think that with the internet, this would be the ideal tool for communication to bring our societies closer together. And yet, under the rule of capitalism, it's done the complete opposite. It's used to spread disinformation. It's used to keep communities separate, spread hatred, keep us distant from our neighbours because we're not politically aligned with whichever tie a certain party wears. And I know I could get really deep right now, but everything always comes down to money. It's just divide and conquer every single time with every single tool which could be beneficial. And I guess that's why I'm nocturnal. Or one of the many reasons why. I see between the lines sometimes. I want more from the society, to be part of a society, and yet I spend so much of my time just being part of an economy which doesn't help me at all. All I'm trying to say is one good turn deserves another. So those elderly neighbours that I would assist cooking for, helping them with their shop, whatever it might be, they might be able to look after a little one. That's what a society kind of is, helping each other. And that brings me to another point. If you were to remove money, then we could change the way we trade. So we could honour an agreement, one deed for another. That would be how we would trade. I need your help, you need my help, let's work together. The core of any society, this is a fundamental. Instead, we have this problem with consumerism. We're just constantly spending, trying to find something, a spiritual connection to a product which was only made to serve a very short purpose. Trying to find a connection to people. We're never going to attain it in the system that we live in. And there it is. Until that day, when I find both freedom and purpose in my days, then I will remain a nocturnal being, unable to sleep with the thoughts going round my head, round and around, thinking of ways to make changes, of how a society could be better and benefit everybody, and never being able to live in such a place. It cannot exist in this world. And then I think, how can I make myself useful? When everything comes down to money, you may as well need it to breathe. You need it to pay the bills, to keep a roof over your head, to buy food, and everything else, to look after loved ones. How is someone like me ever supposed to make myself useful? I think I could go deeper into this another time. As for now, that concludes my 3 a.m. thoughts.